Hold on to your butts. These are the Squashbuckler Diaries. Welcome back. My name is Guy Hasson, and you're listening to the Squashbuckler Diaries podcast. The podcast that follows Shelley's life in a dream. She's the girl in the dream, and we follow her from birth to death. In season one, she's young. She's ages 2 to 6. We follow her jump through time as the Red Dragon tells her tale. The Red Dragon is the female dragon that watches over her and her father and tells us her story. And if you want to know more about the dragon, check out episode 0 of the podcast, where she talks about herself and not about Joy. So, we are creating a heroine, a future heroine. What is that like? How does that come out when she's young? This episode is one of those episodes, one of the many episodes that shows an aspect of that. So, let's begin. Episode 75, Swimming Alone. Joy's age 4, told by the Red Dragon. Dragonfather is gone more than he is present in his dream. I suppose it means he is awake a lot more time than he sleeps. That leaves Dragon Little a lot of time alone on the ship, Bonny's Revenge. Every day for a few hours, there is no parent to watch her. There is no one to tell her what not to do. There is also nowhere to go, for the world is mostly empty without the dreamer, except for the ocean. It has always been there in the few years I have known them. It is there no doubt due to Dragon Little, but neither she nor her father seem to realize that. On this day, 4-year-old Dragon Little took most of her clothes off and dropped down the rope ladder in a small splash. As the bottom of it sank slowly into the ocean, she began to climb down. She reached the bottom and, one hand on the ladder, at water height, she jumped into the water. At 4 years old, she did not yet know how to swim. She had had a few lessons with Dragonfather, but she was not good enough. He had expressly told her to never go into the water without him. But since when does Dragon Little listen when she really wants something? She let go of the rope and kicked herself away from the ship. She paddled, keeping her head above water. She struggled and was breathing hard, but she made it to a meter or so away from the ship. She turned around in place and paddled back. Her head sank for a second underwater, but she paddled hard, got it above water, and breathed. She reached the rope ladder and grabbed it with all her force. I could see what she was doing. She was teaching herself to swim. This day I learned that if Dragon Little wants to be able to do something, she will find a way to do it, and nothing will stop her. She did it again, and again, and again, slowly getting better and more confident every few minutes. She repeated this process for about half an hour before her head fell underwater. I could hear her struggle underwater, but she was sinking rather than floating. She did not have the strength, or the panic caused her to forget how to swim. I stood up in my hiding place and spread my wings, ready to dive before it was too late. But my sharp dragon eyes saw her feel the ship underwater. She grabbed the last rung of the rope, still underwater, and pushed herself up. Her head came out and she breathed. I sat back down. She took a few minutes to regain her breath and composure. But then, to my surprise, she swam out again, and again, and again, for 30 more minutes before she stopped and climbed out. My dear, lovely Dragon Little, you can do anything. I hope it'll be enough to save you from the troubles that await you outside your father's dream. Told by the Red Dragon. Tags: Joy, Justin, swimming, Joy alone. So, we are getting a glance, a hint of how a future heroine is created, of what she's actually like when she's young, of the stuff that comes in her genes rather than the stuff she was taught by her father, who is not related to her. As you know, if you've listened to this, And speaking of listening to this, check this out. Episode 66 is Joy's first swim. So if you want to know her first experience swimming, check out episode 66. Episode 12, remember I talked about how in the beginning, or the Red Dragon talks about how the world is mostly empty without Joy's father in it, but it's not completely empty. So if you want to know what's in the world when he's not there, check out episode 12 of this podcast. The more episodes we create, the more breadth you have, the more things speak to each other. It's like, she's learning to swim here, she's doing this, she's doing that, but together it comes out to something. It's her entire life. And once we know enough of it, we learn to see, how things fit together. And this is just the beginning. I'm planning something so epic and so massive, and you're going to know all of her life and everything. So many things will come together in the future, will come together now, just a little bit. This is a life, and everything in a life comes together, especially Joy's life. So, I hope you enjoyed this one. Come back tomorrow, and now, the credits. The Squashbuckler Diaries are written and read by me, Guy Hasson. All the tags mentioned in this story are searchable at the website. You can find all the stories there in written form and, in fact, 150 Squashbuckler Diaries more. The Squashbuckler Diaries is the diary of Joy Shelley, the girl who lives in dreams. She'll be called the Forgotten Girl by her father. She'll be a true heroine. She'll change the world. This project shows her entire life from birth to death. Check out the website at guyhasson.com. That's GUYHASSON.com. I've been an author and a playwright for more than 30 years, and this is the first time I've used the guyhasson.com website, because The Girl in the Dream is my life project. If you have questions, if you want to comment, please do. You can comment at the website or email me at guyhasson@gmail.com. That's GUYHASSON @gmail.com. The theme music is called Brass Gentleman and is created by Thomas Howardek. My name is Guy Hasson, and this is my life project. Come back tomorrow, and tomorrow, and tomorrow for more. Welcome back. My name is Guy Hasson, and you're listening to the Squashbuckler Diaries podcast. Boom.